Alright, the next deck is going to be Ghoulkeeper, and this deck has been one of my favorites since it came out, and it's the zombies, so it's the other main tribe, other than obviously the knights were in the first tier, and then there's elves, vampires, and zombies, and they all make it to the top. What a surprise. Tribes are awesome, especially with their lords and stuff. But anyway, this deck has really cool. First of all, it's mono black, so you're never going to have any land issues other than obviously drawing too little or too much. You're not going to have any fixation issues, though. It's got Deergraph Ghoul, who's probably the best one drop in the format, one drop creature in the format. Well, I mean, then there's the utility one drop creatures like Doom Traveler and Soul Warden and stuff like that. But anyway, 2/2 for 1, no downside other than it enters taps. Usually doesn't matter. Sometimes it matters, usually doesn't matter. But anyway, one of the really cool things about this deck is cards like Ghoul Caller's Chant, Ghoul Raiser, and Cruel Revival. So basically, this deck is the most resistant to removal in the game. You really don't care if they kill your lords, if they kill your small dudes, if they kill your big, like, you just don't care. It makes no difference to you if they kill all your guys, because you get them back. There's so few times where you're not able to get every single one of your dudes back, so nobody's ever going to be in the graveyard. If, like, by some strange chance they all are, then you still have Cemetery Reaper. Where are you, buddy? Cemetery Reaper, awesome card. I mean, like, you got the 4 lords: Cemetery Reaper, Death Baron, Lord of the Undead, and Undead Warchief. So all of those guys are pretty good. Death Touch is amazing. I think Lord of the Unreal is still better than them, and obviously Knight Exemplar is still better than them. But pretty much they all fall in as some of the best lords in the game. You've got some decent supporting zombies. You got the Deergraph Ghouls, and Shepherd of Rot is a really cool win condition. Stormgod Crusader beats the best deck in the game, or the best 2 decks in the game, so obviously he's awesome. Walking Corpse is just another 2-drop. You don't really have any 2-drop creatures. You got 9 2-drops, but 3 of them are go for the throats, so you need more creatures. You need more 2-drop creatures. So this puts you at 6, which is, I mean, a healthy amount. You'd rather have more, but and then there's a ton of 3-drops and 4-drops and stuff like that. So, but anyway, you got Sanguine Guard, who's first strike dude, regenerates. He's kind of annoying to play against. Feeding Frenzy's in there because I like to have as much removal as possible. In general, it'll do what you want it to do. Obviously not always, but in general it will. You obviously have the 3 go for the throats, which is just outstanding removal spells. Reanimate, I mean, this card can be just absolutely ridiculous sometimes. I don't really know how often it is useful, but when it is, it's just amazingly good. And then there's Grave Defiler, who lets you just draw a bunch of zombies. So and Skin Render is always a 2 for 1. The best part about this guy is you just keep swinging with him until he dies, and then he dies, and then you get him back, and then you kill more stuff. But this deck is a pretty cool deck. It's not as aggro as Elves are. It doesn't have the 1 and the 2-drop support. This one really, instead of curving out at 3 with a little bit of 4, it really curves out at 4 with a little bit of 5 and 6. As you guys can see, it's got 8 4-drops, 4 5-drops, and 1 6-drop, which is obviously Grave Titan. Roar. Awesome. Cruel Revival, running all 3 of them. I want as much removal. Like, it destroys anything that's not a zombie. They can't be regenerated, and you get a dude back. It's just such good value at an instant speed. Call to the Grave is really interesting. It's an amazing card, but they don't really use it. I mean, they messed up when they programmed the game. So basically, whenever you use this card, if your opponent's creature has Hexproof or Shroud or Protection from Black, then they won't have to sacrifice it. Obviously, that's not the way it works in real life, but you know, sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. They make mistakes when they program this game, so you know, that kind of stuff happens. Unfortunately, like, I would be fine running 4 Walking Corpses in here, or preferably 4 Stormgod Crusaders. I would definitely be fine doing that, and like, I would be a little bit happier if they gave me 1 more Lord instead of 4. They gave me 5. But the way that this deck works, it's like Moaning and Howl's outstanding. Just gets you 2 dudes that are usually like 3 3s at least. And so basically this deck curves out around 4 or 5, and then basically you just lock up the board, and they're like, okay, all you need to do is kill that guy. Then they kill your 2 guys. Ghoul Caller's Chant, get them both back. There's really nothing they can do to win the game once you reach a certain point. But then there's all these useless cards up here at the top of the curve. 5/3, 4/5, 4/3, Phage the unthinkable, like you would never think to play her. And then there's Army of the Damned. So there's all these cards at the top of the curve that you can't play. Beacon of Unrest is okay. It's not great. It's just, it gets something that's in the graveyard. So I like it in Grave Whispers because a lot of the times they're going to be discarding their win conditions, and then you're just like, I'll take it. But here, it's not really that often. Soulless One, there's too many 4-drops. You can't run all of them. And there's Endless Ranks of the Dead, which I know a lot of people love, and I don't know. I just feel like you're better suited running all of the cards that I'm running. Like, some people are like, take out a Cruel Revival. You don't need all those kill spells. I love kill spells. I think they work so well. Grave Defiler, what's the point? It's just going to get you more zombies. I don't know. I mean, Endless Ranks of the Dead, it just comes out at 4. The turn it comes out, you might get 1 zombie. If you already have 2 zombies by turn 4, then you're lucky. It means that you hit your 2-drop and you hit your 3-drop, which is good. Like, it's good, but let's see how many 3-drops we got. We got 1, 2, 3. These guys aren't coming out turn 3, 4, 5. So you only have 5 3-drops, and as we mentioned before, 6 2-drops. So it's just unlikely that you hit your 2-drop, your 3-drop, and then you hit Endless Ranks. So you're probably not even getting anything until at least turn 5. And then by then you get 1 zombie. Then maybe the next turn you'll get 2 if you're very, very lucky. And then it's good value. If you get really, really lucky and you get 3 zombies by turn 6, or like you've gotten 3 zombies by turn 6, then you're happy. Of course, this also is dependent on your opponent not being able to kill your creatures. And then there's the main issue that I have with this card, which is that if you play it, then basically you're not going to want to attack with your zombies, which is the point of this deck. It's really, really aggro. You want to lose your zombies, trade them, get them back. So you'd rather deal with real zombies than tokens. I mean, obviously, Mona the Unhallowed is such good value. It's 4 costs for 2 guys instantly. Well, not instantly, but like you get it right away. You don't have to wait for it. So that's why I like it. I like the zombies. I think that they are definitely on par with vampires and elves. And then we're going to see the next deck, which they are also, in my opinion, on par with in just a second. So I'll see you soon. Five, 4, 3, 2. Hey guys, I am back, and this time we are going to take a look at Unquenchable, which is the last deck that I have in here too. So it's all of the leftover tribes plus this beautiful masterpiece of a deck. And this is the deck that I won the WMG tournament with. I didn't play it second round because in that tournament we basically had to both agree on the decks that we wanted to play, and it would not really have been fair if I was playing this against elves. But in the end I played Realm, which to be honest right now seems like wow, I guess Unquenchable was a little worse. But back when I was playing in that tournament, I don't think I was nearly as good as I am now, and I don't know. Anyway, this deck is currently set up to beat knights, and in my knight setup, I basically have it as deal direct damage to players. So wow, I do have all the lava axes. I was thinking I didn't even have all that in. But anyway, I have all the lava axes in. But this deck is built to directly destroy players. In general, I'm going to use all my burn on the players. Obviously, Flame Slash is just amazing. You got to keep that in there. Goblin Arsonists hold the fort down like it's their job. I took out all the 2-drop dudes because the 2-power dudes because 2 toughness. Wow, bad Daisho. Basically because everybody in Knights has 2 power first strike. I left 2 of the Killing Fiends in. I mean, Killing Fiend is too good. Like Killing Fiend can still beat the Knights deck if they don't play one of their pro red dudes, because you can just kill their dudes and then swing in. So that works. But anyway, it's not necessarily. I mean, there are other ways to run it. You might want to run Killing Fiend and a couple of the Fiery Hellhounds. I definitely like those. If you're not playing against Knight, Prodigal Pyromancer's amazing. And stuff like that. But anyway, this is just set up to do direct damage. You toss down your Cinder Walls, they can't attack. I know Cinder Wall basically has Death Touch on itself. Whenever it deals damage, it basically kills itself. But it's definitely worth it because they can't really attack with anything that they don't want to lose. Wheel of Fortune is so good in this format. Not in this format, but in this way of running the deck. You use all of your burn spells, and then you get them down to like 8 life. Then you play Wheel of Fortune, and you're bound to draw the rest of the removal that you need, or the rest of the direct damage that you need to win the game. So let's go over a little bit quickly what this deck beats, what this deck loses to. I mean, it can beat pretty much anything. I don't really think it usually beats Realm of Illusion. I just feel like they can. I don't know. I mean, I guess it. I mean, it always has been a good matchup against Realm, and even now it still is. But the problem is, if you're using your burn on their face, then their creatures are going to kill you too quickly. If you're using your burn on their creatures, then they can just draw more cards than you because they have Divination, Concentrate, Jace's Ingenuity, Mind Spring. They have all those cards that can actually draw them cards. So they're at a slight advantage there. You got to use your Pyroclasms and your Pyroclasm and your Volcanic Fallout pretty intelligently. But I mean, if you start a hand with like double Flame Rift, double Incinerate, double Volcan, or like double Flame Rift, double Incinerate, and Volcammer, then obviously you've got a good shot at winning. And I don't know. I mean, since the beginning, it was always seen as a pretty good matchup because their Grizzle Blues pretty much do nothing since they can't counter your spells that kill them. Their Lords don't do much because you're going to be able to kill them even if they save a counter spell. You're going to have 2 spells for it. So in general, this deck is viewed as a pretty favorable matchup against Realm. I love the matchup against Benighted. I think that it's one of the best decks for beating Benighted, even though that's obviously one of the best decks in the game. March to War will probably beat this deck most of the time, especially if I have it set up like this, because they're going to be able to gain life some way. Them playing like Lightning Helix on your Kiln Fiend is basically just like, good game. I'll kill your only threat, because you usually don't have more than one. I'll kill your only threat, and I'll also gain 3 life. So, you know that Volcammer that you used to your face last turn? Yeah, that didn't mean anything either. So, even if they can't get their Soul Wardens going because you just kill it right away, they still gain just enough life, because this deck is one of those decks that does exactly 20 damage. Another deck that this doesn't really have too great of a matchup against is going to be the Zombies. The Zombies, you basically have to aim for their face. Because they can't use their life as a resource so much. They can't really gain life like March to War does, but it does move a little bit faster than this deck does. If they've got a couple of their Lords out, then they're just going to be able to win the game faster. And you can't kill their creatures, because as I was mentioning a couple of minutes ago, in the zombie guide, they're just going to come back. And if you waste your spells to kill their creatures, then you're just in bad shape. So you definitely don't really want to be facing that deck, no matter how you have this deck set up. I mean, if you've got the Fiery Hellhounds in, then it's a little better, because I mean they trade, but I don't know. I guess it's not really much better. This deck really doesn't do well against Ghoulkeeper. So basically, I mean, it doesn't do as well against some of the newer decks. It does. I mean, I've always thought it did pretty well against vampires. Not excellent, because I mean, if they play Blade of the Blood Chief, and then I mean, it's pretty much game over. You just have to kill the card that has Blade of the Blood Chief on it every single turn. And if they have a Vicious Hunger for your Kiln Fiend that you have out, then the game's pretty much over. Because once it gets out of burn range, then you're kind of screwed. And if you don't have a Chandra's Outrage or a Flame Tongue Kavu for their Drana, or for their their Bloodthirsty Lifelink dude, then it's not going to end well for you. So basically, this deck completely, I mean, I don't think it completely destroys vampires, but I think it's a little bit favorable. Like out of 10 times, it'll win like 5 or 6. 6. I don't know. Yeah. Out of 100 times, it'll win 55 or 60. Is basically what I'm trying to say. So it's pretty good. I love the Unquenchable Fire. I always have. It's one of my favorite decks. It just doesn't lose as often as other decks, and you usually feel like you're in control. There's so many different ways to run it, and I just really like this deck. I definitely feel it deserves a spot in my tier 2. So that concludes my tier 1 and my tier 2. My tier 1 was March to War, Benighted, and Realm of Illusion. My tier 2 was Zombies, Elves, Vampires, and Fire. And stay tuned for tier 3. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. See you soon. Bye.